Again, my name is Hannah Mctier, and I work for the Georgia Farmers Market Association. And my boss, Sigdrina Dalal, she was unable to be here tonight, but you guys get me instead, so woohoo for you. Um, and I was originally going to go a different way with this talk because typically, as a new nonprofit, when we give talks, we're asking for money. And I realized that this room is full of dreamers and that you are problem solvers. So instead, I'm going to pitch to you what the problems are that I face every day in my job and how you can help me basically, maybe not to solve them, but definitely to improve upon them. So in order to do that, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on who I am so you better understand why I'm driven to do what I do with GFMA. I am from Georgia. I'm from a rural county called Wilkes County with about 10,000 people in it. I grew up on a farm. My dad raises cattle. My grandparents grow vegetables. And so I am a farmer's daughter by trade. But when I went to school, I decided to study exercise science, and I am technically a kinesiologist. So I understand nutrition, exercise, how to be active every day, and live a healthy life. And so I realized that maybe I didn't want to go that route specifically, but hey, let's try public health because what's better than living in a healthy world? So now I study at Emory University to get my master's degree in environmental public health. Through that, through that degree process, I met Sigdrina and came on with GFMA because as a farmer's daughter, I understand the problems and the struggles that they face every day. And by studying public health, I also understand the problems that the world faces every day and how they're linked together. So I understand that you guys are a very active audience, so I'm going to ask for a couple of numbers from you. Can anyone tell me what percentage of children in the United States is obese? Just give me some numbers. Come on. All right, it's actually about 1 in 6. So not that high, it's a little less than 20%, but that number is rapidly growing. What about adults? 66% are overweight or obese. This is something that I face every day. What about the average age of the American farmer? 55. Okay, think about this aging population. You get to be 55, you're not your young self anymore. You can't work 15-hour days on the farm. Who's going to fill that gap when they're no longer able to work the fields? Okay, have any of you heard of the Farm Bill? The Farm Bill is the main way that rural farmers are able to get any support from the government to do what they do. Now, the 2014 Farm Bill had about $500 billion in its budget. How much of that went to the SNAP EBT program? 400 billion. 100 billion is what the farmers of the United States got. Now, I'm not bashing on food stamps because I personally received them and I think they're a wonderful thing. But at the same time, think about that. Think about policy, how it affects farming, how it affects markets, how it affects the health of our nation. Now, going into a little bit more about what the Farmers Market Association actually does, we're trying to make a better Georgia, a better state for the younger generations, especially minority populations, children who don't start off with maybe everything that they need to live a healthy life. They may have to buy those foods that are subsidized by big corporations or by the government. You know, they may only be able to afford the Cheetos or the sodas. They can't always afford the organic, the fresh, the local. That's something that we have to think about when we're pushing farmers markets within the state. We can't always say, well, this one can only be organic or this one can only be certified naturally grown, because not everyone can afford that. But we want these things to be accessible to everyone. So that's something else that we face. Brennan Washington and his wife are some of the core people who helped start the Farmers Market Association, helped us get off our feet, get the funding that we needed, and he continually helps us write grants so that way we can continue what we're doing. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Brennan. That's Brennan. And so a little bit of what we do on an everyday basis. We've taken on consulting. A lot of cities are interested in having their own farmers market, but they don't know how to get it started. So we have begun doing that. We did that with the Norcross Community Market. and the Lithonia Farmers Market, both which are close to Atlanta. So we do want to expand to other parts of the state because there's more to Georgia than Atlanta. And a lot of the funding typically goes to Atlanta, and the rural areas get forgotten. So we definitely want to expand our reach to help more counties, more cities, more chambers of commerce to develop their own farmers market if they don't already have one. We also have a membership program. We are an association. So we have farmer members, we have market manager members, we have community members, people who support us. We have a mayor who's a member, and my mom is a member because she's a farmer. So all different people from all walks of life support the association and what we do because we affect so many different people. A conference. Every year we have a food for thought conference just to bring everyone together, sort of talk about and collaborate like what we're doing here. It's a way to network, to meet new people, to form new pathways of getting work done. And so this year, if anybody wants to come, it's November 29th and November 30th and December 1st. It's a Thursday, Friday. So hit me up if you want to go to that. Again, this is the Norcross Community Market, which we just last Saturday was their opening day, and we were there to cut the ribbon and say, woohoo, like you're on your own now. We helped you this past year to grow, and we're really proud of what you've done, and you're good. You're all set. So this is a really big, prideful thing for us to talk about because we put so much effort into it. So within the Norcross Community Market, 50% of the vendors came from underserved populations. Typically, when people think about farmers markets, they think about white suburban neighborhoods with white farmers at them. You know, you walk in and it's white people. And that's not representative of the United States. It's not representative of Georgia, nor is it representative of Atlanta. So we were really proud of the fact that half of our vendors are not of that majority population, especially because they're typically the ones who need to sell what they grow, what they make, what they produce the most to be able to live properly. 2 cottage food businesses were created. A lot of people come into this country and they don't know how to start a business, they don't know how to get a job. And so farmers markets are almost like a, what's it called? The rockets go off from a launch pad. It's a place to practice your business, to see if the public is even interested in it. And so these 2 women were at the market this past Saturday selling their jams and jellies, their pies, and they're so proud and they're living a better life now because of it. 70% of the vendors were from the local areas. That's a huge push right now, the local food movement. I want to buy the local food. I want my farmer to live within 50 miles of me. I want to be able to go see their farm, see what they do. I don't want it to travel across the country from California, which about 90% of the United States produce is grown in California. Think about it. If it's picked 2 weeks ago and it gets to you when you eat it, it's completely depleted of its nutrients, not nearly as good for you. Think about how much damage it did to the environment in that travel from California to Georgia. These things cost money, and they cost the environment, and they cost our bodies when we finally consume that product. So think about that. 400 shoppers spend on average $20 per day at the market. Markets are typically more expensive because these farmers aren't subsidized. However, you're supporting somebody's kid to go to school. You're helping them pay their electric bill. You don't have to spend a lot of money at the market. Just the fact that you're going, you're buying 1 or 2 things, you're meeting people, farming community. Steadily, it'll build over time, but it's a family. So we're really proud of what we do. Again, this is just a snapshot from last year's conference. Again, you guys should come. And so these are some numbers for you. We're actually really behind for 2017. We've had a significant drop in membership. People aren't as interested. They feel like we're not supporting them enough. We're not giving them what they need, which is hard when we have 2 people on staff. We definitely need to figure out how to increase almost how we advertise ourselves. We want more municipalities to come to us and say, either help us start a market or help us improve upon our current one. So right now we're only at 1, and our goal was for 5 this year. And then the conference, I definitely think that we're going to be able to hit this number of attendees. But at the same time, do we have the capacity for that? Are we ready for that? Do we have the right content, the right speakers? Are we in the right mindset to be able to have a 250 person conference? So this the black woman is my boss, is Sigdrina. Just so you know what she looks like, you can put a face to her name. She is very dedicated to what we do. She's standing there with a couple of market managers at Lilburn Farmers Market, and she is so dedicated to her work. She is the face of the organization. Typically, she would be here giving this speech, but I'm very honored to be here in her place. And again, another snapshot from our conference. This is our typical banner that we give out. What do we do? But there are so many things that we do, so many hats that we wear, and so many problems that we're trying to fight right now. So I think that's it.